We are so happy to welcome Novak onto our Tennis Channel FanDuel desk. Congratulations. By the way, we have had 15 days of pure sunshine. The heavens have just erupted to congratulate you. Mother Nature's saying, congratulations, Novak.
Oh, man, yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, what a perfect scenario, right? It rains right after the tournament is finished. I actually can't recall the last Roland Garros where we didn't have a single day of rain. So it was a perfect tournament for me, obviously, finishing with Coupe de Mousquetaire, probably the toughest out of 4 slams to win for me. And kind of symbolizes, in a way, the great battle, eternal battle and external battle that I had to go through to clinch this historic title.
Well, and apart from this title, of course, 23 comes with it, 23 majors. What is baked into that? What is the significance of that to you?
Well, look, you know, I mean, it was in the back of my mind, that just the fact that history is on the line. But my team has created a good bubble around me, and I just didn't want to get, you know, any unnecessary disturbance. I didn't want to, you know, kind of derail from what I need to do, which is focus on this match today, prepare well so I can win it as any other. And I think we've done well. And when I saw his forehand going wide, I dropped to the ground, and I just felt a great sense of relief. Because once the tournament is finished, obviously it's even sweeter if you finish with a trophy, but when you're done, you know, you feel like a little bit deflated, you know, like a balloon with no air, because so much tension, so much stress, you know, anticipation, expectations from what's going to happen from myself and people around me, and of course the whole tennis world, sports world was watching. And I know that, of course, that's a driver as well, a driving force for me, a motivation, but at the same time can be a great burden. So I try to stay in the moment, and I couldn't be happier to share this with my family. My kids were there, my wife, my parents. My 2 brothers were not there, but I know they're always with me, and my full team. Just an amazing feeling and amazing success.
You won your first major 2008, but you've never been in this position. You are tied with no one. You are at the top of the mountain. You have 23. I wonder, can you reflect on the power of rivalry? If not for Roger and Rafa, do you have 23 or do you have 43 or 63?
Everything happens for a reason, so I do believe that they are a significant part of the success of who I am as a player today. No doubt. The rivalries that I had with both of these guys are the biggest rivalries I ever had. And they define me. They define me as a player. Those matches, especially the early career matchups I had against them, they were not so successful for me. Actually, I was losing head-to-head to both of these guys. And when I won in 2008, my first Grand Slam in the Australian Open, I thought, well, okay, I just entered the stage, and now it's going to be happening for me more often. But it wasn't the case for 3 years. You know, I was doubting myself. I was struggling a lot to win against these guys, to make that final step and win against them on the biggest stage in the biggest matches. So, you know, when I was losing those matches, you know, I went back and I questioned a lot, you know, everything that I'm doing in terms of training, in terms of whatever preparation, from the mental preparation to the physical one, and just, you know, went deep into analysis of my entire personality and everything. And so I do believe that the rivalries with these 2 guys have contributed a lot to the success and to the fact that I'm sitting here and talking with you with the 23rd Grand Slam.
Number 23, and I love it on the jacket, too. You talked about having your kids here. Those words of inspiration on the court were magical. You talk about giving values to them. I'm curious, what new lessons did you learn about yourself over the past 2 weeks?
It's a good question. I have to reflect a little bit more profoundly, so I come back to you later. But one thing is for sure, that I've learned that, you know, the biggest impact on the outcome of the match I hold in my hands, in my heart, in my head, in my legs. With all, of course, respect to my opponent and outside factors that can, of course, influence, but you know, we have huge power, and you know, sometimes we're not just aware of it. I mean, I remind myself of that often, and I try to, kind of have a little pep talk to myself internally and say, hey, look, you are who you are, and where you are is because of a big reason. And so you can still keep going, and you can win the slams, you can be the best in the world. Because I have my doubts, everyone does, but and it's not possible to always be perfectly in tune with your beliefs and have positive mindset. It's impossible to have positive mindset all the time, but I think it's important to adapt to any circumstances and conditions. And if you have thoughts that are running you down, kind of embrace them and welcome them and say, okay, I'll move on. I'll focus on what I want to focus on. Energy flows where attention goes. I truly believe in that. So, hopefully the words that I said on the court, that were directed towards a lot of young athletes and tennis players have touched some of them. I really hope so, because, other than playing to win and make history of the sport that I'm truly in love with, I also try to inspire my children first, and then all of the other children around the world.
Someone else you inspired with was in your box today. Cameras caught Tom Brady, and there were a lot of jokes, goat on goat. And here's a guy who played into his mid-40s, and you're still going strong in your mid-30s. There he is. He's sitting next to your wife, no less. He was very involved in your performance, and a real appreciation. But I wonder, and I know you talked when he was thinking about prolonging his career. I'm curious, what is the most important factor for you in your sports longevity?
Oh, Tom is amazing. I mean, he is the essence of sports longevity. I mean, he was playing till he was 40-something years old. I mean, an incredible champion, friend, someone I'm proud to call a friend. And we connected almost 10 years ago, actually. We never met. We actually always were speaking on the phone or texting and sending each other support, but we never met. So this was a very unique moment for me, to have such a legend of sports globally, and someone that has inspired millions of people, and not just in America, but worldwide, to be there, to be supporting me, to be there from the first to the last point. I'm very, very grateful, and I look up to him. I really do. And we talked a lot about the longevity. We talked a lot about, what gives you an edge? What is the next thing mentally, physically, emotionally that you can do that would allow you to become a better version of yourself, and to be able to perform as best as you can, or to recover. I know that, he's got his TB12 recovery and performance center, and his brand. Everything he's doing is a work of art. So I mean, I'm a big fan.
36 years old. You've won the first two legs
I
of the
still
major.
have time, Tom.
You got 9
years.
Yeah,
You got a decade left.
That's where I'm going with this. You just won a physical battle against a 20-year-old. You won the first two legs of the Grand Slam. Would you argue if somebody said Novak Djokovic is in his prime right now?
I wouldn't argue. I mean, I'm different than I was 10 years ago. Different person, different player. But I think that, the positive things about my game is that I've learned a lot about my game, because as time goes on and more matches you play, the more you learn about, what do you need to do differently in order not to get into the black hole in the match, right? Not just mentally, but also physically and game-wise. Truth is that the body is responding a bit differently nowadays, but, I try to put a lot of hours with my team into it, and make sure that I'm able to play best of 5. Slams are the priority. Slams are the tournaments where I want to play my best tennis. And if someone told me I would win 2 out of 2 so far in the season, I would sign it right away. It's an amazing feeling.
It's 2 out of 2. So still on track for a potential Grand Slam. Somehow, some way, there are actually more records to break, more history to make. What would be the next most significant piece of history that you'd like to achieve on the court?
I'd like to get another chance in New York. Of course, I have to win Wimbledon, which is a whole different mountain to climb. The fact that I won the last 4 Wimbledons, gives me a lot of confidence, and I look forward to that. I really do. I love playing there. That's the dream tournament, always has been for me. If that happens, I'd love to get a chance to go for another chance at the history in New York. You know, I missed the history a couple of years ago in the last match with Medvedev, but you know, I felt the love from New Yorkers, from all the people who were there. I was actually blown away with the emotions of what they've brought to me on that day on the court. So I can't wait to go back and play in New York.
Like you say, believe it, create it, right? I mean,
exactly. And achieve it.
And achieve it as well.
Yeah.
Novak, you were one of the first, I think the first ever player interview when Tennis Channel was first here in 2007.
Yes.
For you to be back here now at this moment with 23, it's such a privilege.
It's a privilege to see you guys growing so much over the years. I've talked with your boss, Ken, about the 2007 Eiffel Tower interview. It was your first set, and here you go. You are also celebrating a 20 years anniversary. I am also celebrating 20 years of professional tennis. So, you know, we go hand in hand. I love Tennis Channel, and I support everything you guys are doing. So keep going.
Beautiful partnership.
Awesome. You as well. Thank you.
You're signed. Congratulations once again on 23, and we'll see you at Wimbledon.
See you there.